I'm Roxie with Roxie's Broadway Breakdown. Welcome back to my channel where it's always about musical theater. And if you like that, don't forget to click and subscribe. So today I want to talk about the new musicals that are opening on Broadway this spring of 2025. I did do a video about the musicals that opened in the fall of 2024. Unfortunately, some of those have already closed, like the Tammy Faye musical that had a $25 million budget. It only had like 29 performances. Yikes. That's what happens. Sometimes these huge budget musicals just can't churn the seats fast enough. They really need to sell it to pay cast and crew and keep the theater open. Just didn't, appease the critics and the audiences. Just wrong show, wrong time. You can read my or watch my video about that, what happened there. Same thing with Swept Away, the musical. It literally got swept away in the shuffle of all the other musicals. I just don't think people were in the mood to watch a show about men caught up on a shipwreck and what they had to do to survive. Use your imagination. But other shows are thriving, like Death Becomes Her and the new GYPSY revival starring Audra McDonald. So, it just depends on what the audiences are in the mood for. So let's look forward to spring of 2025. Let's get into this. Redwood, starring Idina Menzel. She's coming back to Broadway. She is a businesswoman, wife, mom. She seems to have it all, but suddenly she's just like, nope, giving it up, going, leaving it all behind, and she is going to journey to the Redwood Forest of North California. And there along the way, something magical happens. She has like a life-altering moment, and it changes her life forever. So that sounds like a really intriguing musical. She apparently contributed a lot to the concept of this musical. So I love Idina. I would love to see this musical. All right, Operation Mincemeat. This has been in the West End for a couple of years. It won an Olivier Award, and now it is transferring to Broadway. It's about a covert operation in World War II. So let's see how it fares on Broadway. Sometimes they transfer well and sometimes they don't, but maybe this one will. Buena Vista Social Club. This is based off a Grammy-winning album, so it's a concept album musical. Boop! The Betty Boop musical. I have been hearing about this musical for at least a couple of years. It's been getting a lot of buzz. Jasmine Amy Rogers has been getting a lot of buzz for her performance in this. It is finally coming to Broadway, so let's see how this one does. Smash! The musical. This is based off the very popular TV show. I'm really wondering how they're going to transfer this because this was a 2-season TV series that had a lot of subplots. It's basically about bringing the musical Bombshell, based off Marilyn Monroe's life, to Broadway. So it was already, had like a built-in thing about a Broadway show, all about the drama behind the scenes of a Broadway show. I really wish, though, that they had just kind of kept it to Bombshell, the Marilyn Monroe musical, because that had great music in the TV show. It is being directed by the wonderful Susan Stroman, music and lyrics by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, who are known for like Some Like It Hot and a lot of other hits. But we'll see how this transfers to Broadway. I can't think of another musical or Broadway show based on a TV series. I mean, a lot about movies, many based on movies, but not TV shows. Although Stranger Things is coming. Is it this spring? That's a TV show. Maybe that's going to be the new trend. A few revivals. Last 5 years, starring Nick Jonas and Adrienne Warren, who won the Tony for her performance in Tina, the musical, Tina Turner, the musical. Sondheim's Old Friends, bringing Bernadette Peters back for that revival. I think we're just going to keep having this love fest with Sondheim ever since he passed. Pirates of Penzance making a revival. I don't know that that's one of my favorites, but Floyd Collins starring Jeremy Jordan. That is transferring from Off-Broadway to Broadway. Just in time. The story of Bobby Darin. His life story, starring Jonathan Groff. I think he's going to be fantastic in that. Real Women Have Curves. And finally, Dead Outlaw. I did a whole video on this show, Dead Outlaw. It was an off-Broadway show, and it is coming to Broadway, starring Andrew Duran. I'm going to leave that alone. But it is a true story about this outlaw that was killed, and when he died, they somehow preserved his body. I don't know. I'm finding, maybe I'm my morbid curiosity. Anyway, when he died, they preserved his body, and then they toted around his body like as a sideshow attraction to different carnivals and places like that. And then somehow a movie studio head bought the remains, and it ended up as like a prop in an amusement ride or sideshow attraction at an amusement park. Very bizarre. And in the 1980s, 90s, somebody discovered it and thought, that's a really realistic looking prop. Wait a second. Is that a prop? Oh my God. It's like, that's a real person. So then it was finally discovered and I suppose put to rest. I also found it odd. I watched 911, the TV show, and like they used this as a plot on 911. They found this body at a park and they discovered that's not a prop, it's a real person. And they tried to find out the background. They found out it was an outlaw. They changed the name and they changed a few things about this story. But I found that really interesting. I was like, did Ryan Murphy or Brad Falchuk see the show and thought, we need to use this as a, you know, storyline on 911? And I thought that's really bizarre of all the shows they could have used. So maybe somebody else found it interesting like I did. So there you go. There are the shows coming for the spring of 2025 to Broadway. I hope a lot of them fare well. These shows are expensive. They got to sell those tickets. So get out there and see them. If you see them and you have some thoughts and comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next time, I'll see you later.